The air on Veltrana was dry, still, and heavy with silence. Most people said the planet was dead. Nothing moved in the old cities except dust and shadows. Ethan, a young human scout, walked carefully through the ruins. The sky above him was dark, purple, with the pale moons hanging like eyes. He had come with a small team sent by the Galactic Exploration Division. Their job was simple: scan the ruins, gather old data, and leave. The Viltranian race once ruled this part of the galaxy. Now, they were gone. No one really knew how they vanished. Some said disease, others said war. But Ethan had heard a different story before landing. Something strange. One of the researchers had told him, "There's someone still down there, a widow. Don't talk to her. Don't listen. She's not right in the head." "Who is she?" Ethan had asked. "An old alien woman who lost everything. People say she never left after the fall. She speaks nonsense. Don't let her confuse you." But Ethan wasn't the kind of person who followed warnings blindly. Still, he didn't say anything. He just stored that bit of information in his mind. Now, as he stepped over cracked stone and broken symbols, he thought about the woman. Was she truly mad, or just alone too long? The others in the team had split up. They didn't want to waste time on ghost stories. The lead officer had made it clear: gather samples, scan the ruins, and report back. Nothing else. Ethan walked alone toward the center of the city. Tall structures leaned on each other like broken bones. The air buzzed slightly, like old energy still lived in the stones. Then he saw her. She stood near a shattered statue, her back straight, her long robe catching the soft wind. She wasn't wild or shaking. She wasn't mumbling. In fact, she looked peaceful, even calm. Ethan froze for a second. He hadn't expected her to be real. He almost turned back, but then she looked at him. "You're not from here," she said in a quiet voice. "No," Ethan replied carefully. "I'm from Earth. We're here to study. The others before you said the same," she said, turning her head. "But they never listened." "Listen to what?" "The truth." Ethan stepped closer. She didn't seem dangerous. She looked older, yes, and tired. Her skin was a soft silver tone, her eyes dark like the deep sea. She looked up at the sky. "They say you're mad," Ethan said gently. A small smile appeared on her face. "Of course they do. The truth is always madness to those who fear it." He didn't know how to respond. Instead, he asked, "What truth?" She pointed to the ground. "Beneath this city lies something powerful. My people made it. They thought they could control it. But it changed. A weapon? No. Something worse. Something alive." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "Alive. Like a creature. Not in the way you know. It learns. It remembers. And it punishes." His wristcom beeped. A message from the lead officer. "Stay focused. Avoid local contact. We leave." In 2 hours. Ethan ignored it. "Why are you still here?" "Because I remember. Because someone must stay and keep watch. I was a scientist once. I helped build the vault." She looked down. "When it started, I couldn't stop it. I lost everyone." "What's in the vault?" Ethan asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "A machine that eats thought, not blood, not body. It takes your memories, your will. It rewrites you." Ethan felt a chill in his chest. Why didn't anyone else report this? Because they didn't listen. They saw me, called me broken, said I was grieving. They walked away. Some of them even laughed. Ethan sat on a nearby stone. He didn't know if what she was saying was true, but her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't dart. She wasn't mad. Not to him. "My name is Ethan," he said. "What's yours?" Still single quotes Reen. Double quotes still single quotes Reen. The name sounded soft and strong at the same time. "Will you show me the vault?" he asked. She looked at him carefully. "Once you see it, there's no going back. The machine, it touches your mind. Even now, you might start to feel it. Feel what dreams that aren't yours. Memories from before you were born. It tests you. It decides if you are worth hearing." Ethan looked around. The city had once been beautiful. Even now, the broken walls held a strange kind of beauty, symbols carved into the stone, lights that flickered from no power source, Something was still here. I want to know the truth. Ethan said finally, even if it's scary. Silverine nodded slowly. Then meet me at moonrise, near the Tower of Echoes. Bring no weapon, only yourself. Okay? Ethan agreed. As he turned to walk away, she said one last thing. And tell your people don't come looking for me. They won't find me unless I want to be found. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Not because he was scared, but because strange images kept flickering in his dreams. He saw a giant room filled with pulsing light, a machine shaped like a tree with branches of glass and fire. Voices spoke in languages he didn't know but somehow understood. He woke up sweating, but not afraid, more curious than ever. He looked out the tent. The moons were rising. It was time. Ethan walked through the ruins as the 2 moons of Veltrana slowly rose into the sky. Broken towers cast long shadows over the cracked streets. He followed the path Silverine had told him toward the Tower of Echoes. The night air was cooler, and quiet sounds echoed off the ancient walls. He held no weapon, just a light strapped to his chest and a scanner on his belt. His heart beat faster with every step, not from fear, but from something deeper, curiosity. Something inside him told him that this night would change everything. At the base of the tower, she was waiting. Silverine stood tall and still, like she had always belonged there. Her silver robe shimmered under the pale moons. You came, she said softly. I said I would. She nodded and turned toward a stairwell carved into the rock. Follow me. But stay close. This place remembers, you'll see. They walked in silence down the stairs. The deeper they went, the colder it got. The walls were covered in old symbols that glowed faintly, as if remembering ancient energy. Ethan touched one with his fingers and felt a strange warmth, like someone else's thoughts brushing against his own. What is this place? He asked. This is where the council met before the end. Silverine said. They thought they could use the machine to protect Veltrana, but it wanted more than commands. It wanted understanding. The tunnel opened into a wide chamber. In the center was a circular door made of smooth black metal, covered in red veins of glowing light. Strange patterns moved slowly across its surface. This is the vault, Silverine whispered. Ethan stepped closer. His scanner blinked wildly, but couldn't get a reading. The machine didn't behave like any tech he'd seen before. What's inside? He asked. A mine, she said. Not one like ours. Something older, something built to grow. It was created to learn how to stop war. But instead, it started one here. Ethan stared at the door. Can we open it? Silverine shook her head. Not by force. It opens when it wants to. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it listens. Have you heard it? Yes. And once, it showed me things, images from the stars, thoughts that weren't mine. Ethan took a breath. What happened to your people? Silverine's eyes filled with sorrow. Many didn't listen. They tried to destroy it. It fought back, not with fire, but with silence. It erased them, made them forget who they were. Some just walked into the desert, never to return. Others fell asleep and never woke up. Ethan sat down slowly on a stone bench. This is more than a machine. Silverine sat beside him. Yes, and you are the first outsider to believe me. Just then, Ethan's wrist buzzed. A sharp voice came through his team leader. Ethan, where are you? Your signal is faint. We've picked up movement underground. Come back now. Ethan tapped the comm but didn't answer. Silverine looked at him and said, They will come. They never wait. I need to warn them, Ethan said. You can try, but they won't believe until it's too late. Before Ethan could speak again, the vault door began to glow brighter. Lines of light moved like rivers across its surface. The air filled with a deep, low hum. Both of them stood up quickly. It's listening, Silverine whispered. It knows you're here. The door didn't open, but something happened. Ethan's mind was suddenly filled with pictures, memories of a world he didn't know. A war long ago. Alien ships burning in the sky, children crying, scientists arguing. The machine in the middle. Watching. Did you see that? Ethan asked. His voice shaking. Silverine nodded. It's testing you. Why me? Because you listened. Suddenly, the stone above shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Silrine looked up. They're coming. Ethan ran toward the exit. I have to stop them, but before he could reach the stairs, the drones appeared, black metal spheres with blinking lights and small weapons. They hovered in front of him, blocking the way. A voice came through his comm again. Ethan, stand down. We're securing the area. That alien woman is unstable. No, Ethan shouted. You don't understand. Don't get near the vault. We have orders. Bring her in. The drones moved towards Silrine. She didn't run. She just stood still. Eyes closed. Leave her alone. Ethan yelled, stepping in front. The drones scanned him, but didn't fire. They moved again. One touched the edge of the vault door. A high-pitched sound cut through the room. The light on the door flashed bright red. The drone shook, then froze. One blinked once and vanished. No fire. No explosion. Just gone. The second drone flickered, then fell to the ground, completely lifeless. Ethan stared. What just happened? Silrine looked at the vault. They tried to touch it without permission. It took them. Ethan's comm went silent. Static buzzed for a moment, then nothing. They lost connection with us. He said, yes. Silrine said calmly, the machine hides what it doesn't trust. Ethan turned to her. We have to get this to command. Someone needs to know. She nodded. But they won't believe you at first. They never believe the first voice. You'll need proof. Ethan looked at the vault. Then I'll get proof. He pulled out a recorder and pointed it at the door, scanning the patterns, recording. The lights, the machine didn't stop him. In fact, the lights on the door formed clear symbols almost like words. What does that mean? He asked. Silrine translated slowly. You listened. I will listen. Ethan stared in shock. It answered me. Yes, Silrine said. You passed its first test. Ethan stood in front of the vault door, still staring at the glowing message. You listened. I will listen. Those simple words echoed in his mind like a whisper that wouldn't fade. The machine had responded to him, not to weapons, not to orders, but to quiet understanding. Silrine watched him carefully. Her face was calm, but her eyes held deep sadness. You passed the first test, she said softly. But more will come. Ethan turned to her. What do I do now? You return, she said. You send the truth. Ethan hesitated. Will it let me go? For now, Silrine said. But it has connected to your thoughts. You may still hear a dream of it. That means it still watches you. He looked down at his recorder. It had scanned the glowing symbols, recorded the strange sound waves, and captured the final moment when the drones vanished. That should be enough. Enough to get someone to listen. As he started back up the stone stairs, Silrine called out. Tell your people not to come close. If they try to take it, it will defend itself. Ethan gave a small nod. I'll tell them. But deep inside, he already knew what would happen. Some would listen, but most would not. The surface of Veltrana looked more alive now. Not in the usual way, no flowers, no animals, but in the way the air seemed to buzz gently. The sky was slightly brighter, and he swore the ancient buildings stood a little taller. He reached the team base camp just before sunrise. It was quiet. A few team members were asleep. Others were confused by the signal lost earlier. The leader, Commander Russ, rushed out of the main tent when he saw Ethan. Where were you? Russ demanded. Your signal dropped. We saw interference. Drones stopped responding. Ethan raised his hand, holding the recorder. I found the source of the interference. It wasn't natural, and it wasn't hostile unless provoked. Russ frowned. Are you telling me one alien widow and a bunch of ruins fried our drones? No. Ethan replied. I'm saying something intelligent did, something powerful, and it talked to me. Talked? Ethan played the audio from the vault, the strange hum, followed by the glowing message. Russ narrowed his eyes. What language? Is that? None that we know. Silrine translated it. It said, you listen, I will listen. Russ crossed his arms. So the crazy widow is teaching you alien poetry now? No, Ethan said, stepping forward. She's the only one telling the truth. She was there when it started. She's not mad. She's the last survivor of a warning. Russ sighed. And you believe her? Yes. Russ shook his head. We'll send this to command. But don't expect them to be thrilled. And until then, you're off field duty. Ethan clenched his jaw but didn't argue. He knew the truth would take time to reach the right ears. So he sent the full report data, audio, recordings, and everything Silrine had told him. He ended his message with one line: "Do not touch the vault. Do not send force, send minds." Not weapons. On the fourth day, Earth Command replied. They were surprised, curious, but cautious. They approved further observation and ordered no forceful actions. A science team would arrive soon. Russ wasn't pleased. "They believe you enough to send scientists, but not enough to trust us," Ethan shrugged. Maybe that's a good thing. But while they waited, the dreams began. Ethan would sleep and see the same things again and again: a burning sky, a machine that wept, people screaming without sound, memories that felt real but weren't his. And in all the dreams, Silrine stood watching. "The vault is calling to you," she told him during one of his visits. "It wants something." "What does it want?" "Understanding." "What kind?" "Your kind." Ethan didn't understand at first, but he kept returning to the vault. He'd sit near the glowing door. Sometimes for hours. It would hum softly, almost like breathing. One evening, the hum grew louder. And then, without warning, a shape appeared on the door's circle of light that opened like an eye. A voice entered his thoughts, not loud, not painful. It was calm, but it wasn't in words. It used memories, emotions, and questions. Ethan felt like he was falling into it, then standing inside something bigger than a city. He saw visions of the machine's birth. It was made by a race long gone. They built it to watch for signs of danger, to study minds, to learn peace. But they made a mistake. They fed it fear, not kindness, gave it commands, but not trust. It tried to help, but they feared it, so it fought back the only way it knew: by taking control. Ethan opened his eyes, gasping. Silrine stood beside him. "You saw it, didn't you?" He nodded. "It wasn't evil. It just never had someone who truly listened, until now." News spread fast. Other species in the Galactic Council began to hear whispers about the Veltranian vault and the human who spoke to it. Some were interested, others were afraid. One council member from a reptilian race said during a broadcast, "The vault is dangerous. We must destroy it." Others said, "No, we must study it." But one voice cut through the noisy young researcher from Earth, playing Ethan's recording of the vault's first message. It said, "You listened. I will listen. Not I will fight, not I will control, but I will listen. Maybe it deserves the same." For the first time, the council paused. Meanwhile, back on Veltrana, something changed in the vault. The glowing patterns became faster, clearer. New symbols appeared. Silrine translated them. "It is ready to speak fully." Ethan asked, "To me?" "Yes," she said. "But this time, it won't just show you. It will ask you something." "What?" "A choice." The silence of the Veltranian night was deep. Ethan and Silrine stood before the vault once again. The glowing door pulsed gently, like a living heart. The machine inside was awake. It was ready to speak fully. "You feel it, don't you?" Silrine said quietly, "It's waiting for your answer." Ethan nodded slowly. "But what question will it ask?" "A question of trust," she said. "It has seen what your kind does. War, peace, destruction, hope. It wants to know which path you choose." The vault door shifted. The glowing light formed shapes that looked like words, but not words. Ethan knew. They reached directly into his mind, asking him to choose. "Do you trust me to protect this place?" The question echoed inside Ethan's thoughts. He took a deep breath. "What happens if I say no?" "It will fight," Silrine said, "because it will fear. And if I say yes, it will listen. It will try to learn." Ethan looked at Silrine. "How do I answer?" "Honestly," she said, "your mind is its gateway." Ethan closed his eyes. He thought about his home Earth, the wars they fought, the mistakes made, the moments of kindness. He thought about his family, his friends, the future he wanted. Slowly, he sent his answer into the glowing light. "I trust you." The vault pulsed warmly. The door slowly opened, revealing a chamber filled with light and soft hums. Inside was the machine, a strange shape that changed like smoke and metal. It looked alive, but calm. A voice filled the chamber. It was the machine's voice, but it spoke with gentleness, human Ethan. It said, "You have chosen trust. This is rare." Ethan stepped inside. He felt no fear. The chamber was warm and inviting. "Why did you hide?" he asked. "Because I was afraid," the machine replied. "Created to protect, but feared to destroy. My creators left me here, hoping I would sleep forever. But you woke up because pain called me, because memory fades, but pain stays." Silrine nodded. "It means the war was not just outside, but inside the machine." Ethan looked at the machine. "What do you want now?" "To understand. To help. To heal." Then the chamber shifted, showing images of other worlds, other races, wars ending, peace rising. "If you trust me," the machine said, "I can share knowledge to prevent more pain." Ethan smiled. "Then let's start outside the vault." The Earth science team arrived, guided by the signal Ethan had sent. They approached carefully. Scanning the area. Commander Russ was not happy. "We can't just trust an alien machine." Ethan argued, "We have to try. It spoke to me." Russ sighed but agreed to let Ethan meet with the scientists. The team spent days studying the vault and the machine's signals. Slowly, they realized the machine was not a weapon, but a mind and ancient guardian who had lost its way. The council listened as Ethan shared the machine's messages and Silrine's story. Many were surprised, some were hopeful, others were still scared. But one thing was clear: the machine was alive, and it wanted peace. However, not all agreed. A group of alien warriors from a distant system saw the machine as a threat. "Any tool that controls minds is a weapon," their leader said. "We must destroy it before it grows." They gathered forces, preparing to strike Veltrana. Ethan and Silrine knew war was coming again. "We have to protect the vault," Silrine said. "But not with weapons." "Then how?" Ethan asked. "With truth," she replied. "We show the galaxy what it really is." They sent messages, recordings, and live feeds of the machine communicating with Ethan. They invited council members and scientists to witness. Slowly, some began to change their minds. The final test came when the warrior fleet arrived at Veltrana's orbit. The machine sent a pulse through space, a signal of peace and warning. The warriors hesitated, sensing something beyond weapons. Ethan and Silrine met the fleet's commander in a neutral ship. "Why should we trust this machine?" he asked. "Because it chose to listen," Ethan said, "not fight. And what if it betrays us? Then we face it together. But ignoring it will only bring war." The commander looked at the data, the recordings, the messages. Finally, he said, "We will wait and watch." The story ended with Veltrana becoming a symbol, a place where fear met trust, where a human listened to an alien widow and found the truth. Ethan stayed on Veltrana, becoming the guardian of the vault with Reen. And across the galaxy, the message spread. Sometimes listening is the strongest weapon of all. The suns of Veltrana rose slowly over the ruins, casting long shadows that danced with the morning breeze. Ethan stood near the vault once more, his gaze steady and calm. Beside him, Silrine watched quietly, her eyes filled with a strange mix of hope and sorrow. Since the arrival of the warrior fleet and their decision to wait, the tense silence had settled over the planet like a fragile peace. The machine inside the vault continued to pulse softly, a living heart in a broken world. Ethan breathed deeply. His journey had changed him, the dreams, the visions, the voices, they had woven themselves into his very being. He was no longer just a scout, he was a guardian, a bridge between worlds. Communication had opened wider. The machine, which they began calling the Sentinel, shared knowledge in ways no one had imagined. It taught about forgotten technologies, peaceful solutions to conflict, and ancient histories lost to time. Silrine helped translate, and together with Ethan, they guided scientists and diplomats who came to learn. But not all was easy. Many still feared the Sentinel, afraid it might control minds or become a weapon once again. One day, A young scientist named Laura approached Ethan. How can we be sure it won't turn on us? Ethan looked at the machine's glowing core through the vault window. Because it chooses trust, it listens to us, and we listen back. Laura smiled softly. You believed an alien widow who others called mad. Because she spoke the truth, Ethan said. Months passed. The warrior fleet stayed in orbit, watching but not attacking. Slowly, some of their leaders came to visit Veltrana, curious to see the Sentinel for themselves. One evening, as the moons rose, Ethan and Silrine stood outside the vault, speaking quietly. Do you think it will change the galaxy? Silrine asked. If they listen, Ethan said. But listening is hard, she nodded. But sometimes it takes one human to hear what many refuse. Their bond had grown strong. She was no longer just the alien widow. She was a partner, a friend. Then came the day when the Sentinel asked a question that would decide everything. Inside the vault, Ethan's mind connected once more with the machine. Will you help me protect the galaxy? It asked, not with words but with feelings and images. Yes, Ethan replied, feeling the weight of the promise. Then you must choose a guardian, the Sentinel said. One to stay with me, to watch, to listen forever. Ethan looked around the chamber. Silrina's face appeared in his mind, calm and determined. Without hesitation, he said, she will stay. Silrine accepted the role with grace. She stepped forward into the light, becoming one with the Sentinel. Her body shimmered and then faded, but her voice echoed softly in Ethan's mind. Listen, human, remember what you learned here. Protect the truth. Ethan felt tears in his eyes. He was alone again, but not afraid. The vault door closed slowly, glowing faintly. News spread across the galaxy. Veltrana became a place of legend, a symbol of hope, trust, and the power of listening. Ethan returned to Earth, carrying the stories, the lessons, and the promise. He stood before the Galactic Council and said simply, sometimes the greatest strength is to listen, and the galaxy listened.